Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the top 15 best dirt cheap beginner race cars, track cars, more specifically track cars. As you guys know, I'm a big ol' fan-ski of the whole track experience, hill climb cars, time attack, autocross. I like corners when I watch racing, and a lot of people I feel like that it's way too expensive to get into racing. And while I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not expensive, I mean realistically all these cars on this list are going to be a second car. You know, you're not going to daily drive these, so it is already kind of expensive in that sense. Then you got to pay for repairs and upgrades and whatever it may be, so it is expensive, but you can start while on a relatively decent budget. I'm not giving it any price range today. I guess $10,000, but there is actually one or two cars that are over $10,000. It's just cars that are cheap, good options. The majority of these cars I would say are under $5,000. You can find a lot of these cars are right around $5K. I'll mention how much I think the average price for the car is when I go over it though. And song of the day is called Timeless by The Weeknd and Playboy Carti. I'm not a big fan of Carti, but I do like The Weeknd. I think he has a very good voice when he's not talking about the most inappropriate things known to mankind. He actually makes good songs in my opinion. So go give it a shot. It is a rap song, but I guess it's more like a hip hop song. I don't know what you would call it. But if you don't like that style of music, obviously don't listen to it. But without further ado, let's go right into it though with number 15. And that, my good friends, goes to the wonderful Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX 2G. I feel like I've been talking about the 2G Eclipse in every single one of my cheap cars videos recently because it is just a good option nowadays. For a GSX, you're probably looking at right around I would say $7,000 for a decent one though. It's not going to be a piece of junk. And it comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 making 210 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. Obviously the horsepower doesn't sound crazy out of the gate or anything like that, but you got to remember, spoiler alert, I'm going to be saying this a lot in this video, this car is lightweight and it has a high revving good motor for tuning, and it's a 4G63, a little bit watered down, but a 4G63 nonetheless, and those are incredible motors. Coming in at 14th place is a bit of an odd one, and that's kind of why I put it here at the 14th spot. Silly boy. It's going to the Mazda RX-7 FB Facebook Marketplace, and the reason why I'm putting it here all the way down here is because realistically you're going to have to swap the motor. The car's platform is absolutely incredible, and people sleep on the platform of an FB RX-7, but the motor is not that great. It comes with a 1.1 liter 2-rotor rotary engine making 100 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. 100 horsepower isn't much, and obviously getting more power out of a car out of an engine that has 1.1 liters is going to be a pretty hard task, especially a naturally aspirated engine from factory. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is get rid of this rotary and slap in an LS in. Sorry. Or even something like a K series, dude. Put a K series in this thing. Put a VQ in it. I know it sounds crazy. You're gonna be like, oh, VQ. It makes 300 horsepower stock. Put a VQ 35 in this thing and you're good to go. The car is so light. It's just, unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive than some of these other cars because you do have to swap the motor. Although you could just find a shell and then that's even cheaper. I just realized I forgot to mention how much an FB RX-7 goes for. They're all over the place, but I would say on average $5,000. Either way, 13th place is a BMW 325i E30. Yet again, I would say on average you're probably looking at $5,000 for this, especially if you don't mind if it's a sedan. The coupes are going to be a little bit more money because just the coupes look better in people's opinions. So if you don't mind the sedan though, it's fine. The car comes with a 2.5 liter inline 6 making 168 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. This is another car yet again where it's if you want to get good power out of it, you're probably going to have to swap the motor. But the good part about this car is you don't have to do that, because obviously a lot of racing, especially when it comes to autocross and stuff like that, you don't need a lot of power. You just need the car to be lightweight and grippy, and that's what the E30 is. It's a tried and true perfected race car over these years. The only reason why I'm putting it lower than the rest of these cars is they are just so old at this point. A lot of them have been neglected. Coming in at 12th place is pretty obvious. I feel like if you're looking at a track car nowadays, the Subaru WRX Hawkeye. This whole second generation of the WRX, the Hawkeye, Bug-Eye are all good options. I'm just going to go with the Hawkeye today because I feel like I don't talk about the Hawkeye a lot. And you can find a Hawkeye WRX for I would say right around $7,000, $8,000 maybe. A good one at least. You can find a cheap piece of crap one for $5K, and it comes with a 2-liter turbo flat 4 making 225 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. Unlike the last two cars we talked about, this motor doesn't have to be swapped. This is a good motor to build power on. Are they unreliable once you start to push boost out of them and stuff like that? Obviously, yeah, but it's a race car, so you're not daily driving it. You shouldn't really care that much. And I know a lot of people are probably sitting there thinking, oh, well, I don't need a rally car. WRXs aren't just rally cars. They're incredible no matter what surface you put them on. It's just that they're also pretty good at rally racing, so that's why people tend to do that. Coming in at number 11 spot is only all the way down here because of the price. It's the Honda S2000. The S2K is an absolutely incredible track car, but unfortunately, nowadays, you're not finding one for anything less than like 15 grand. You can probably find one for like right around the 10K mark if you're really patient, but it probably is going to be a hoopty, have some problems. If you want just a regular average S2K though, it's probably going to be like 15K. The car comes with a 2.2 liter inline four, making 247 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. This is one of the ones that I was talking about that's over 10K, but I do think it's worth it. S2000s are absolutely incredible driver's cars. Are they a little hard to control at first? Yeah, but you gotta learn. And once you learn, and you get the hang of how an S2000 handles, then you're gonna be able to push it to its absolute limits, and it'll show why the S2000 is so freaking so respected. 10th place is honestly kind of the exact same story as the S2000, to be honest. I didn't plan it like that. No, I didn't. It's a Toyota MRS. I was going to do the MR2 SW20 in this one, but I was like, you know what? I never talked about the MRS, and the MRS is low-key just a better MR2, sorry. But the car comes with a 1.8 liter inline four, making 138 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. On top of that, you can find an MRS for like, I would say $7,000-$8,000 nowadays, and it's just all around a really, really good platform. It's the best car in terms of their snap oversteer problems of the MR family. It does still experience snap oversteer though, and it is another car kind of like the S2000 where you are going to have to take some time to get used to the car and really make sure you perfected it before pushing it to its limits. But once you do, these things can absolutely rip. Just because they don't look that great doesn't mean they're not absolutely incredible sports cars. 9th place is another obvious one nowadays in 2025. I mean, almost every freaking time I see a racing video or anything like that, there's at least one Subaru BRZ ZN6. The ZN6 is the chassis code for the first generation. Obviously, the second generation is not cheap. It's brand new. But the first gen, yeah, these things are pretty cheap. You can find one for like, I would say the average price for these cars is exactly like $10,000. You can find one that's more money, obviously, and it's going to be in a lot better condition, but you're buying a race car, you probably don't care. So you can find one for 10K easily. The car comes with a 2 liter flat four, making 200 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Obviously, again, that doesn't sound like much, but yet again, this car is a lightweight car. It's rear wheel drive. It's got a short wheelbase. It's 200 horsepower is more than enough if you're doing like autocross or tinier circuits with not that many straights in them. In terms of making power though, that is where the BRZ does kind of fall flat. The engine isn't the best for making power. Another car with that exact same problem, 8th place, is the Nissan 240SX S13. Everybody thinks 240s or S chassis in general are just drift cars, and everybody that thinks that doesn't know anything about race cars, okay? Because these bad boys can be incredible either way. They are right around, I would say, an S13 nowadays for a decent just shell, kind of, not even like a shell, but like one that might have like high miles. I would say it's like 6-7 grand, maybe even 5 grand. And they come with a 2.4 liter inline four, making 145 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. Again, this is another one of those cars where it's kind of iffy because it's like, okay, the KA is a pretty horrible motor. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but the car's also, again, lightweight. But almost everybody swaps an S chassis out with different motors from the KAs anyways, specifically the SR20s. But like, I've even started seeing people put VQs in these and like LSs, and it's like, if you can afford to do that and you could just buy an S13 chassis or a rolling shell, it'll be really cheap and a really, really good option. 7th place is obvious for me. Like, whenever I think of cheap track cars, I always think of this car, but I feel like nobody else does. The Mini Cooper S R53. Mini Coopers, you know, be it as you may, are they girly cars? Are they tiny little cars? Yes, okay, everybody knows that. But they are track cars through and through. You can find an R53 Mini Cooper S for like 5 grand. Pretty easily, and it'll be a decent condition. And it comes with a 1.6 liter supercharged inline four, making 190 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. That's decent horsepower, honestly, for a car this light with such a short wheelbase. The front wheel drive part is a little bit, obviously, like not ideal, but the motor is also good for making some cheap power. Is it unreliable? Unfortunately, yeah, but again, it's a race car. Do you really care about reliability in a race car? Coming in at 6th place is the other car on this list that's over $10,000, the Porsche Cayman 986. You can find a 986 Cayman for right around like 20 grand nowadays, maybe even like 25 grand if you're not patient enough. And they're just, I mean, dude, you say what you want about the Caymans, they're just pocket 911s, dude. I'm sorry, but they come with a 2.7 liter flat six, making 245 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. If you're even on a stricter budget than that, though, you could even get the Boxster, and it's the exact same thing, just a convertible, not as good aerodynamics, obviously, but pretty much the exact same thing as this for like 10 grand. Like they just because it's, you know, not a 911 doesn't mean that it's not still a Porsche. These cars handle like a dream. They're absolutely incredible in terms of performance. All right, I mean, this is like, if you didn't expect there to be a Miata on this list, I mean, you might just not even know what cars are. Like, there's a good chance you have never heard of the word tires before, because 5th place is the Mazda Miata NA. You can find an NA Miata nowadays for right around the $5,000 mark, and they are still a good option. I mean, they always will be, unless they get to a point where they're like $20,000. If that's the case, then yeah, they're probably not going to be a good option anymore, but they're just... Dude, I mean, it's a tried and true method. They come with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive, my bad. And it's just, I mean, dude, Miatas are, what can I say that hasn't been said already? You know, they're lightweight, short wheelbase. They're extremely lightweight, by the way, and they have a good enough sized engine bay to the point where you can swap a decent amount of motors into them. And the 1.8 liter inline 4, and it is super reliable and can handle a little bit extra power, which is more than enough in a Miata. I was in a 200 horsepower Miata before. It's 200 horsepower. Doesn't sound like it's much. It was zooming. Coming in at 4th place, however, is my car. It's a good trap car, man. I don't know what to tell you. The Acura Integra LS. This is, like I said, this is my car. I own one of these. I like it. It's a pretty fun car, except it's a little small. It's my only complaint with my Integra. Either way, you can find an LS Integra for like $3,000. That's how much I paid for mine. And they are one of the cheapest options on this list, and in my opinion, one of the best options on this list. They come with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower, and it's front wheel drive. The car is extremely light. The wheelbase is pretty small. The front wheel drive, again, does take away from it a little bit, but the car comes with a B series stock. Is it the best B series? No. But is it a good one? Yeah. And you can get cheap power out of this. The car is already lightweight. Any extra added power to this car is going to be a lot. And it'll handle, the best part of it all, it'll handle it reliably. These cars are absolutely incredible track cars, and the fact that more people aren't building them for that, instead they're just building them for straight line speed, is mind-blowing. Coming in at 3rd place, however, is I feel like a kind of hidden one that people I feel like don't really talk about that much, especially here in America, the Volkswagen GTI Mark III. Specifically the Mark III, but almost every GTI is a pretty good track car, and you can find them for pretty cheap nowadays. I would say the Mark IIIs you can find for right around the $5,000 mark, and when you do, they come with a 2.8 liter V6, making 172 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. It's a VR6 though, but for some reason, every time you look it up, it's going to say V6, so it's a VR6. And in case you don't know, VR6s are for some reason just absolutely bulletproof when it comes to building power. These cars can handle a ridiculous amount of power on the stock engine in it, and that's pretty much all that you need. The car is also lightweight with a short wheelbase, obviously. The only downside to a GTIs is that they are hatchbacks, so the aerodynamics aren't the best. They are a little bit top heavier than some of the other cars on this list, but overall they are still a really good option. And coming in at 2nd place is the only car on this list that really utilizes power over weight. Like, the power to weight ratio isn't incredible in this. The Chevy Corvette C5. Corvette is a tried and true freaking American classic when it comes to racing nowadays. I mean, it's just, they have an insane racing history behind them. And the C5 is one of the cheaper ones that you can buy nowadays. You can find a C5 for right around the $10,000 mark. You could even find it for cheaper than that if you're really patient. And when you do, the car comes with a 5.7 liter V8, making 350 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. That's obviously the most horsepower out of any car on this list, but the car is also the heaviest out of every car on this list. So again, you kind of have a different scenario there where this car really utilizes power over, like I said before, the weight. And so it's interesting. It's like I said, it's really different, but Corvettes are just purebred race cars. Like, you can say what you want about the owners of them being old heads that park them all the time. They are true, like, just through and through a race car. But 1st place, I mean, it's a good option even if you don't want a race car. You just want a daily driver, and that's it's the BMW 328i E36. I've told you guys before I'm a BMW fan, but I've also said before that I'm not the biggest E36 fan. I just don't like how they look that well. But it would be stupid for me to not admit that the E36 is one of the best budget options for a track car in 2025. I mean, there's still I feel like these cars just don't rise in price. Like, they were like $3,000 5 years ago, and they're still like $3,000 now. It's just mind-blowing. I don't know what's going on. Either way, the car comes with a 2.8 liter inline 6, making 190 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. The only downside to an E36 328i is that the engine isn't the best for making power. It's not bad, but it's not the best. The car is extremely lightweight. It's super forgiving, and it's the best part of it all, it's reliable. It takes these things like a champ, and it just takes a beating over and over and over again. And pretty much every other BMW motor will just bolt right up to this car too. So if you do end up getting bored of the 2.8 liter, you can always upgrade, get a different motor if you have the extra money. But there's a reason why, if you watch like Nürburgring highlights or rally racing highlights or hill climb highlights, half the clips are going to be E36s, because they're just truly an incredible driver's car right now for the price. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 15 best budget track cars for beginners for dirt cheap. Like I said, there's no real price point today. I'm probably just going to name the video like cheap track cars. I really don't know what I'm going to name it, because like I said, there's just no price point. What do I say? What do I say? So that's what I'm gonna do. Either way, though, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let me know what other videos I can see in the comment section down below. And I knew I had something to say to you guys, but I can't remember it now. That's gonna frustrate me. That's gonna really frustrate me. Actually, give me like 2 seconds to think about it real quick. Guys, I think I remembered what it was why did I have the camera down there? I think I remember what it was I wanted to tell you guys. I'm just gonna really quickly draw it out here. Would you guys like to see a video of all my like cars that I want to build in the future? I know it's a really random thing. It's just like Mark Roden dream cars video, but I don't know. I was thinking about making one. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. That's Vidania. Have a nice night.